Welcome to the White Sox Recap Podcast. I am Ryan McGuffey. Talk about a response from the Chicago White Sox after a 1-5 road trip and getting swept in Detroit. The White Sox come home against the first-place Cleveland Guardians and take 2 out of 3, and we're on the verge of sweeping Cleveland. But 2 out of 3 ain't bad as they win their 9th consecutive series at home. Absolutely incredible. As we tape this, they are still in first place at the top with Cleveland. A lot of talk and maybe some disdain towards manager of the year, might I say favorite, Will Venable lately with bullpen management. I'm saying not so fast. Whether or not Brian Anderson or Jonathan Hood agree, we're going to get their takes because they're both alongside. As we start to get closer to the All-Star break and trade deadline, the White Sox warts, maybe they're showing themselves. We're going to dissect and discuss. It's Hoodie. It's BA. It's me, Ryan McGuffey, on this edition of the White Sox Recap Podcast, and it starts right now. All right, Brian Anderson, Jonathan Hood, good to be back. The trio, the boys, back together again, and boom, there it is. So everyone was up in arms, right? A 1-5 road trip to the Yankees and Detroit Tigers. They gave away 2 of those Tigers games to me on Friday and Sunday, of course, for sure. And it's like, oh, here comes the slide. And then the White Sox come home and do what? They win, because that's all they do at home. They are the best team in baseball at home. There's a true home field advantage. And they had Cleveland on the verge of another improbable comeback, down 2 in the 9th inning, 2 outs, nobody on. Looks like nothing's doing against the league's arguably best closer, certainly the most saves. Boom, Braden Montgomery. Boom, Randall Grichuk. And we're playing extra innings. But they came up short. But 2 out of 3 ain't bad. The White Sox, as we record this, head into the end of June, tied for first place as we get close to the All-Star break, 2 weeks from the All-Star break. Guys, I want to talk about, just the response first, and then we'll talk about some of the things that we maybe don't like about the White Sox. But Hoodie, we'll start with you. Just their way to fight back, fight, scratch, and claw, because that's who the 2026 White Sox are, to come back and take 2 out of 3 against the Guardians after getting swept by the Tigers.
Well, first of all, I didn't like your tone in the open. Bad tone. Bad tone. Because you know what that tone was? It was a tone of expectation.
Oh,
and so
you don't like the tone of expectation?
Well, I mean, the way you said it, though, it was as if like we're the Yankees or we're the Dodgers and we're not there yet. See, and so here's the thing. As I always say on this podcast, there's levels to this. One thing that we know for sure at this point in time is that the Sox are excellent at home. Like, we win series at home, which is great. Now the learning curve is to be able to get that done on the road, right? So it's going to happen, I think, at some point, just not now. But you seem a little bit pessimistic about what's happened. And here's the thing. It was one of those things where you saw that last game against Cleveland and, bases are juiced, opportunity to break the game open and win it in the 10th. And I just was like, we almost had it right there. But you know what, BA? We left them with a finish. At least it wasn't a flat finish. We're on the doorstep, on the precipice of winning that ball game, and we fell short. But I'll take the series victory, and I'll have the young guys learn with the loss what they have to do for the next series. So I'm good with it. It's one of those things where you don't like to lose, but it wasn't bad because at least you left them with a finish.
They had an atrocious road trip, right? I remember doing the game at CHSN over the weekend with Chuck, and it was so bad. They were so bad offensively that I sat there with Chuck and we're like, what do we talk about on the post game? Chuck, what shall we talk about? It was we were literally making up stuff, giving shout outs at the very end there, but you love to see the fight. They win 2 or 3. If you're going to lose, that's the way you need to lose, with some fight and some grit towards the end there. And as long as you got Randall Grichuk, like, that guy's incredible. What a great find. Another great get by Getz,
I mean, he had an at-bat earlier when he pinch hit, and then Stephen Vogt made a counter move to go with the righty, and he just ropes one into the gap that at that point would have tied the game, and Stephen Kwan did run it down. And then he comes up on the first pitch in the 9th after Braden Montgomery barely has taken his helmet off yet, and homers on the first pitch.
He likes to ambush, doesn't he?
It was funny because I had a bet. So maybe the tone of expectation I'm okay with. I'm going to push back. I'm okay with, because I think that they've earned the tone of expectation.
Mhm.
Now, I'm not saying, and Cap would disagree, when you have a chance to go for it, you go for it. Well, you have a $245 million payroll, and these guys are learning how to win on the fly and doing it quite well and very admirably, mind you. So you worry about your team and we'll worry about ours, because while I do think the White Sox need to go for it, whatever that means, I don't think it means winning the World Series, but I do think getting in gives you a chance to win the World Series. We've seen stranger things happen, and as things happen over the next 6 weeks as we get close to the trade deadline, then I think our expectations we can actually figure out what our expectations are, because as we transition into the bullpen usage, and I feel like Venable has really taken some heat. It's been very clear over the last week or so about how he's managed or mismanaged the bullpen. The reason I said in the open about pushing back is because what should he be doing? There's people looking at, well, Dominguez should never be closing a game. Well, I'm telling you, if Grant Taylor is pitching the 7th or 8th because the highest leverage at the back end of the game is the 7th and 8th, and you're facing 2-3-4 or 3-4-5 versus 6-7-8 or 7-8-9, I'm going to push back and say, like, that's where Grant Taylor should be pitching. And who right now, other than Hudson, Taylor, and Dominguez, who you've ridden into the ground lately by default, are you going to in these situations? And Dominguez has not been very good. We know that. But he's still an arm you have to use. So I ask you, Hoodie, do you see mismanagement or lack of bullets at the back end right now?
So let's take it one step at a time.
Okay.
So tell us from your sources, what was up with Taylor in his absence if it wasn't someone that was going through an ouchie and not an IL stint? Why was he not utilized for almost a week? So
that's if I was going to critique Will, that's one thing. Publicly, he's only said we're waiting to use him in the leverage situations. I'm sorry, 7 days is too many for anybody. Even if you're on a 7-game losing streak, you're bringing him in to get work. Yeah. So, I mean, BA, I'll turn to you, because in your experience in the majors, when you've seen a reliever need a week off or hasn't pitched for a week, before, I would say he's not injured, because if he's injured and he's going out there throwing 25 pitches and then following it up with a 30-pitch performance and then pitching in the 10th inning of a game against Cleveland, to me, he's not injured.
Yeah, so what is the All-Star break yet? But let me tell you, man, like, I tell you what, Bobby Jenks, like, admittedly so, like, he was terrible in non-closing situations. He just didn't get as geeked up as much as he did when the game was on the line. But you take a guy like him, Matt Thornton, Cliff Polite, any of those guys that are like big time bullpen guys, they're never going a week. If they're going a week, you're throwing them in, even in a garbage situation. You're like, hey, go get an inning in. They're not thrilled about it, but you still put them out there to get the work. I think 3 games. I think you got to throw once a series. I think that's a rule of thumb, even if it's a 4-game series. But if it's a 3-game series, you throw once a series, man. Even if it's a blowout, like, hey, let's get you tuned up. If it's a Sunday, let's just throw you in there. If you haven't pitched, especially if you haven't pitched like a Friday, Saturday, you got to go in there on a Sunday. Just get your work in, blow the 7, 8, 9 doors off, and get out of there. But yeah,
but Hoodie, before I get your response here, what do we want Will Venable? Do we want transparency there? That to say, like, hey, he needs like 2 or 3 extra days because I don't think we do, because then what are other teams doing? Aren't they taking note of that? Like, when Taylor comes in, it's because he's already shaking some stuff off. So maybe I'm okay with the public response and the outcry being like, why hasn't he pitched? I'm okay with holding some of that stuff close to the vest. It's covering up injuries that I would push back on, but I don't think that's the situation here.
Oh, so yeah, my whole thing is, like, it's okay to say it. That's how you feel. You're just wrong. And Venable is just wrong. Like, yeah, we did not play well against the Tigers and the Yankees, but it doesn't mean that you just put them on ice. We only use Taylor when we're winning.
Agreed.
Okay, well, that's, I mean, you're not very good on the road lately. At least you're just kind of up and down the road. And so, no, you have to give him an opportunity to stretch out. If you're already getting beat down, what's it hurt for Taylor to pitch an inning and give you 25, 26 pitches, whatever it takes, right? So we start there. That's one. So the next step is Dominguez. Dominguez should be hidden in the in the bullpen until he can prove that he can throw strikes. Like, he's wild and all over the place. Yeah. There's no control. There's no command. It's not good enough right now. And I appreciate Dominguez being a stand-up guy. Every time I turn on CHSN, and there he is, man. He's right there with the moth in the camera light telling you how bad he is. Fine. But I need to see a veteran to take hold of this thing and be able to get outs. He's just not. He's going through a bad slump right now. He would not be in a high leverage save situation for me until he can prove it. You're trying to win ball games here.
Hey, I forget which game it was, but I remember I was sitting at home. I was watching on MLB.com like game day. I'm too cheap to buy the package, so I'm sitting there and I'm watching it in real time, and it shows Dominguez is on there. And Hoodie, I shit you not, within like 30 seconds, it just showed every base was populated. I'm going, what is going on? Like, and I don't know if it was like the internet or something, but all these pitches would come in at once. It was like ball, 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 ball. I'm like, what is going on down there? Get him out of there.
So before everybody says like, McGuffey's like he's a shield for Venable, I'm with Hoodie on this. Going forward, I don't want, until further notice, maybe I'll just, instead of going for it, until further notice, Dominguez should not be in a save situation. Here are the splits of non-save situation. They put him on the broadcast. These are updated since his last outings. Mm-hmm. In save situations, 16 2/3 innings, Sir Anthony Dominguez has an ERA of 7.02.
Awesome.
7.02. 23 strikeouts, 12 walks, 4 homers. That's a guy for the toughest 3 outs in baseball are to get are what?
Hey,
the last 3, right?
Yeah. Well,
so thanks for that tee up, guys. The non-save situations. Here's Sir Anthony, 11 2/3, 0.77 ERA. Mm-hmm. What's that tells me of that? By the way, he does walk 10 strikeouts, 4 walks, but 11 2/3, 0.77.
It tells me it's a tight ass is what it tells me.
You know what? Fine. Yeah. Then 7th and 8th inning, there's value there.
There's a ton of value. You can make a lot of money doing that too.
And I would make the case that Brian Hudson's just my damn closer right now.
It's called the setup guy for a reason.
I mix and match and put, like, Brian Hudson. It doesn't matter where you've put that guy. He's one of those guys that's having a Neil Kotz, Cliff Polite year. He's just, it's working. Where you put him in the opener, 7th, 9th, it doesn't really matter. So maybe, Hoodie, we just flip the script. Keep Taylor right there in the middle of the 8th inning, and you move Dominguez to the 7th and Hudson to the 9th. I think we all are agreeing here. You just can't keep rolling Sir Anthony out there because of the paycheck.
That's exactly right. No matter how much he's making, he could still be in the rotation of relievers, but just not in high leverage situations. You don't want to try to bury somebody and try to put him in the back of the bullpen like they did Taylor. Dominguez needs to be in that spot right now. And so just like 05, man, the closer you start with may not be the closer you have at the end of the season. Sometimes
the old Hermanson to Jake switch, right?
Dude, like, it's okay. And I'm okay with that. And while you're trying to develop young players, BA, as you try to, you're way over your skis now because you're winning games and now you have expectations all of a sudden. Now you got to start thinking about, okay, as we win games, who can we rely on? Who are our cornerstones? We don't have a cornerstone closer just as of yet. Got to find it.
Yeah, Hoodie, you've covered college baseball quite extensively, and me coaching, you've seen this. The effectively wild shit works a lot in college baseball because of the lack of discipline. But when you start going ball 1, ball 2 in the big leagues, or you're just all over the place and they start sitting one area of the plate as opposed to just strikes, I mean, that shit goes south real quick, and it just doesn't work. And so I think they got to find somebody, if nothing else, like Grant Taylor. I mean, those guys, someone who throws strikes. If you give up 3 or 4 hits and you give up 2 runs, that's baseball. But the 2-0, 3-1s, 3-0 counts, like out of the in the closing position is just unacceptable.
Well, in the era of analytics, okay, I mean, we have data we could just throw in the old engine and boom, it spits us out at us. And then think about their computers and what it's telling us. What I'm telling you right now, we just talked about matchups, Hoodie. Mm-hmm. If you want to I really don't want to see him in a save situation in the foreseeable future. But here are the OPSs of 7, 8, and 9, 7, 8, 9, 1 for Sir Anthony Dominguez. Okay, OPSs 425, 378. The 9 hitters got him a little bit, 819, and then 322 at the top. There's the sweet spot. Those are the 4 hitters I'm cool. 7, 8, 9, 1. If it hasn't happened in those situations, I'm Will Venable coming out right now going boom, boom, or boom, boom. I'm making a signal to the pen. I'm not giving him the chance 2 through 6 right now. I'm just not.
I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but if this isn't more reason that the White Sox should be buyers at the trade deadline, my gosh, like let's go get 2 pieces. Go get a frontline guy. And that's what I was going to tell you earlier, Hoodie, is I watched Kenley Jansen come in the game the other day live with Chuck Garfien. I'm sitting there and I'm like, Guffey Guff would be so freaking pissed right now. I said, because all they needed, and not to mention he's 3rd all time in saves. I was like, what? I thought maybe top 10 if he would crack 3rd behind Trevor Hoffman, Mariano Rivera. That is insane. And so just seeing that piece that was affordable, the White Sox not go do that. Yes, I'm getting greedy because they had some great signs, but man, let's go get someone that they can have that's a strike thrower in the bullpen. If you beat him, it's because he gave up hits.
Thank you for saying what you said about just throwing strikes and just challenging hitters. When it's up here, when it's up at the top and it's at the bottom of the zone and it's behind the catcher and all that stuff, now you got no control, no command. If you throw strikes and you get beat. It's basically baseball. It just happens, right? Sometimes you just get beat. Sir Anthony Dominguez has, to me, non-competitive pitches in big spots, and that doesn't work for me. Kenley Jansen, I love that guy. He looks like you just woke him up. You just woke him up out of the clubhouse. Get out there, Kenley.
Looks like a bouncer.
And he just kind of takes his time. He kind of lumbers out there, and then all of a sudden he's just throwing heat, man. Still like he's been doing all along. I'd love to have a guy like that in the back of the bullpen that you can rely on. And there's where the rubber meets the road, Guff, because as young as we are, it's going to take some veterans that's been there and done that kind of maybe push the Sox over the hump after the deadline. You need to identify those guys. You just can't just roll with these kids and just think when we get to late September, October, it's going to be fine. You need to have those veterans because they can solidify what you do as a team.
All right, so good transition there because
I felt it.
Because they can win the Central. We've been saying they can win the Central. I saw Cleveland, and I know they're not healthy right now. That lineup sucks. That lineup, it does. I know that they figure out a way as an organization every year to just find a way to get in the playoffs, and it's admirable. It
don't
really
have Tito anymore too. That's a big piece.
The vote has won back-to-back managers of the year. Jose Ramirez is the guy. He's the catalyst. There's no reason. The one thing I'll buy into or subscribe to with Cap is that every year's precious. Okay. And you have an opportunity here to get into the dance without sacrificing or mortgaging your ultimate future. We've seen enough kids to come up to go, that guy's going to work, that guy's going to work, that guy's going to work. There's a couple more coming, and you got the number 1 overall pick. But Aroldis Chapman's out there. And from what I understand, the Sox are sniffing and making calls on Aroldis Chapman, as they should. You mentioned Kenley Jansen. The Tigers are in exploration mode right now about who are they. They have 5-6 weeks to figure it out before they
White Sox did not help them, or the White Sox didn't help themselves in that series, letting them stick it to them. I'll tell you that.
No, they didn't, but they still have a lot of work to do to actually say we're not going to sell off our best piece because they're not going to re-sign Tarek Skubal likely. So maybe you call Detroit and make an interdivision trade. That's not going to cost you a top 50 prospect. I'm to the belief that the White Sox can make a major move at the back end and maybe add just a veteran innings eater to help the rotation and do nothing else and just see how it plays out. But if you can solidify 9th inning and work yourself backwards with Taylor and Hudson and Dominguez in that 6th, 7th, you did exactly what successful teams that win the World Series do. You shorten the game to 5 innings and let your bullpen go out and do the dancing. I think you've heard Chris Getz say he needs to help this clubhouse and bring in reinforcements. You can't be scared to be great and go get something that you didn't think was yours. And I think the White Sox, are they the best team in the American League? No. Are they the best team in the major leagues? No. But we've seen it with teams that are young and teams that know how to get it done in the postseason take off. I think about those 03 Marlins, Hoodie, I think there's a responsibility here to find somebody at the back end of the bullpen.
I think it's something that you have to do because your team is young and impressionable. The other thing is that I still look at more offensive help as well, like a veteran at bat. And again, we're not there yet when we talk about the deadline or the playoffs. I'm just saying that you just need to have a little seasoning in there, but it starts with pitching. Can you believe here we are in late June and we're still trying to piecemeal a rotation together with bullpen guys? As bad as the Cubs are, they're not even doing that, right? As far as inconsistency, they don't start with a bullpen guy, and we're still doing it. Fetty should be able to take the ball like a man and just go out there and give me 5. No, we got to put a bullpen out there
first. Too much to ask for 5, Hoodie? Like 5. Remember, we used to call that 5 and dive. They'd be like, he's 5 and dive. That was a negative mark on you as a makeup on your makeup. Like, it's a bad example, but Javi Vasquez, right? He didn't want to, but Javi Vasquez was the best pitcher I've ever seen through 5 innings. You get that 6th inning, and he started to get dicey. But that wasn't because he was trying to bail. Gil Mesh, don't kill me for saying this, but Gil Mesh was notorious. Like, he would carve us up for 5 innings, like when he was with the Royals in Seattle. And then they're like, "Where's Gil?" He's like, "In the shower." Like, he's done. But now it's like, please give us 5 innings. That's insane.
I mean, going back to May 5th with Fetty, and Fetty has a 4.34 ERA, but these are the innings that since May 5th, 4 2/3, 5, 3, 3 1/3, 4, 5, 5, 2 2/3, 4 2/3, and 4.
That's a long man, but also go around the MLB dial. Boy, our team could use an Eric Fetty. His name's always out there, right? It's like Al Horford. It's like Al Horford in the NBA. Just need an Al Horford type.
The Cubs would pick up Eric Fetty right now.
They would.
They would. Which is why you keep him on the team, but you need to comp. Like, I don't know if Shane Smith's going to be able to give. Like, he could. There's a lot that you have in your system that we need to figure out. Like, names that are forgotten, like the Drew Thorpes of the world who undergone an appendectomy, Kai Bush, these type of names. The like the Shane Smiths, like I'm mentioning. But this is where, like, I think you have to add. And I'm going to say this. I've learned some stuff. So the White Sox attendance is up roughly 35%. We saw major walk-ups this week against Cleveland. Unexpected walk-ups, 5,000 plus on Monday. A bigger walk-up on Tuesday that was completely unexpected. We had 30,000 plus crowds over the weekends. They had six or more sellouts, and that's only going to continue as the White Sox show that they have a true home field advantage. And their merch is up like 85% or 100%. TV ratings are up 100%. I was told, by multiple people that money, the new money coming in, that is strictly for payroll. And so fans keep showing up. And if they don't invest it into payroll, then bitch. Then you have every right, if they sit on their hands, to say, what's going on? Yeah. The difference, the unexpected revenue that the White Sox have achieved this year because of the success is going to make an impact at the trade deadline.
That's the hope. At least that's the hope. But here's the hard question.
Can make an impact. How about that?
Guff, BA, here's the tough question, okay? When you look at the Sox rotation, how many pitchers do you trust to go around the lineup 3 times?
None. Well, maybe 1.
2.
Yeah, Davis Martin when he's good, but when he's not,
2.
Yeah.
2 1/3.
So Berkey
when he's on, he's a coin
Davis
flip.
Martin, Burke, and maybe Anthony Kay.
And that's why you need this worse than a hobo needs a ham sandwich. You need to give someone to give you length.
Yep.
You need that, right? You need guys that can give you 5 should not just be the standard or the 2 1/3 from a reliever and then the starter comes in afterwards. No, you need to have arms you can depend on. That matters if you're real. And I think that the Sox are real, but you got to be able to make these moves though. And again, just remember this. Just remember this. As cool as we are with the White Sox and love what's happening right now, don't forget the list of other teams that need stuff too. It starts with the Yankees and Atlanta.
And Dodgers.
So and Dodgers. Like, you got to go through that. So the Sox are like 8th or 9th on that list. You just have to be savvy.
And there's 2 things the Yankees and Dodgers don't give a shit about: how much it costs and the farm.
No.
They like, what do you want? Which prospect? Boom, gone. Yep. How much does it cost? Bam. We'll take Sonny Gray. Everybody's, Sonny Gray. I brought his name up, 3 weeks ago? Mm-hmm. Sexy name. Love the idea of adding Sonny Gray. He's owed about $25 million. The White Sox can't take on that. They can't. And that might piss people off. And I'd even say, I don't know if I want to take on $25 million of Sonny Gray. I think the Red Sox would have to take on some of that, and you're giving up a better prospect. Do I want Sonny Gray on this team? Sure. There's a lot of rentals out there for less money that are Sonny Gray-like. I'd rather go big fish hunting here. I'd rather look at Logan Webb. I'd rather look at Reed Detmers, because I think the White Sox have what it takes to land both of those. We've seen top 100 prospects be very protected by every team in baseball. But if I told you, and it's going to hurt, by the way, it's going to hurt. But if I told you the White Sox headlined a package for Logan Webb with Caleb Bonham, are you backing off of that? Because you have him through 2028, and Caleb Bonham is the 13th.
I made that trade yesterday.
I'd make that trade right now.
Hey, I
now.
got a question for you both.
Wouldn't you, Hoodie? Like,
yes, but no, yes, and. It's gotta be more than that. It's like a comedy, right? It's like
no, you're gonna end up giving like it may cost you Bonham, Caro, and then 2 flyers.
And then what? And then but you need more though. Okay, it can't just be the one big move. If you feel
no.
If you're just chum in the water.
Hold on, I'm dividing 2 things. I'm saying I've already said line in the sand, go get a closer.
Yeah.
And now I'm also telling you to manage this innings eating problem. Because I'm also to the belief that if we're starting game 1, the White Sox are starting game 1 in Yankee Stadium or pick a place, that I feel more comfortable with a Logan Webb on the hill in game 1 than Davis Martin. And that's no disrespect to Davis. He's earned the right. But I'd like to have a guy that's been on that mound in a big situation to set the tone for the rest of the staff. So Davis Martin takes the ball in game 2 and everyone feels pretty damn good about it. Okay. And Sean Burke's everyone moves down a slot rather than going, do we feel good with Davis, Sean Burke, and Anthony Kay? I don't know.
No.
So I'm just saying, I think the White Sox are in a position to strike in a way that most teams can't. The question is, will they? Because Logan Webb, he's cost certainty. He signed a $5 for $90 million extension. So he's owed like He's owed like $22 million for the final years of his contract. That's manageable when you see what's coming off the books for the White Sox.
Let me ask you guys this.
Now the Giants might not trade him, but I'm just saying.
I side a little bit more Cappy. Like you had talked about, Cappy was like kind of riding you about hitting the gas more. And you're saying like, let's hit the gas, but let's be a little bit more mindful about who we give up.
Correct.
So I agree. If the White Sox are just trying to sneak in that wild card game, I agree. You don't want to sell the farm, but you made a very good point. You just brought up the Dodgers. How the Dodgers, and yes, their payroll's way bigger and they got way better players all around. But if the Dodgers are willing to sell the farm, and then the White Sox are expected to beat them in the World Series, that's always the goal, is to win a World Series.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you mortgage your entire future, but what are we doing here? The goal is to win a world championship. If you're not trying to win a world championship, the whole let's try to make the playoffs once every 4 years. Fuck that. If they tell me Logan Webb for Bonham and Hagen Smith, I'm like, see ya. We'll take you. You gotta make a move at some point. There's no guarantees we even play next year. There's no guarantees that the White Sox are good in 28. Munataka Murakami get hurt, Colson could go down the shitter, and then we're all sitting here pissed off. It's like at some point you're gonna have to say, "Hey, I did go all in. I went for it. I saw light at the end of the tunnel, and I went for it."
And like you've already proven, because when Murakami got hurt, it's like everyone was ready for the built-in excuse, right?
Yeah.
Mooney got hurt, and it was a tough part of the schedule, and they're fun, but they're just not there yet. And what have they done? They're 12-11 without Mooney. They're good enough to get to where you need them to get to, and now they need help.
They mitigated.
They need help, and they're showing you in this American League in 2026 that they are good enough to be in the conversation, to be in the dance. So I'm with you. There's zero guarantees. Hoodie, we've seen quote unquote better White Sox teams come up short than this particular team. But when you have Chris Getz built this the way he wanted to build it to get to this point, so you're loaded both on the field at the major league level and in the cupboards at the minor league level. Like Mason Miller, you think the A's wanted to trade Mason Miller? No. You know who the Padres wanted to deal with? One team. Leo DeVries is the number 1 or 2 prospect in baseball. And you know what the Padres said? Come on down. We want that guy in our bullpen, and we'll let you have the best prospect in baseball because Mason Miller's that dude. And I'm not saying you risk everything for everything.
Well, I'm walking proof of that. I mean, listen, I thought I was a great player. I was probably not ready to get called up, Hoodie. In all honesty, I was a pitcher mindset first, and I was learning how to hit. Tough place to learn how to hit in the major leagues. It's just a heads up on that. It's not easy. But I'm living proof that just because you're a top draft pick and you cruise through the minor leagues and you can go get it in center, great. But if we're having the same conversation 5 years from now, man, but our minor league system, and we had the first pick. It's awesome. The goal is to win championships. The White Sox won one fucking World Series since in 88 years, and here we are back on track.
You don't need to remind these two guys.
It's been 21 years. We've been to the playoffs twice.
Yes.
Like three, sorry, but like we went to the playoffs, 08 and 2021 or whatever that was. It was like, that is embarrassing. What are we holding on to in the minor leagues? Like, hit the fucking gas.
Preach.
You know what? When I roll out of bed this morning, I had a different attitude about the White Sox, even after loss against Cleveland. And it's what you're talking about, BA. And that is, I can understand if the Sox didn't have Murakami or Maedroth, or didn't have the Montgomery brothers, or didn't have Antonacci, and didn't have these young guys, right? But we already have more young talent in the minor league system. Yes. So I can understand if we were bereft of talent, of young talent, but we got plenty and more to come, and also more to trade if we have to as well. So that's why in a bad American league, and it is a shitty American league, and that's okay.
Not the best of the shit.
If we're the best of the shit, I'll be the best of the shit.
Yep.
It's like the old man used to say, if you're going to be a custodian, be the best custodian that's in the building, right?
Amen.
And so I look at it like this for the White Sox standpoint. Because you already have young talent that's showing, and plus you are not just a good young team, but you're magical, like we saw yesterday. How do you hit 2 home runs in the 9th and tie that game? Because there's magic. Exactly. While the magic's going on, manifest that magic by adding more veteran leadership to the team that can help you on the margins, starting pitching, relief pitching, veteran at bat. I think that those things are good, especially if you're one of the top teams in the American League. So why not? If you're going to trade the talent, it's not like, oh, boy, if we trade some of our kids, then we're done. You're not done. There's a lot of teams that wish they had the talent that the Sox have right now. So that's why I'm all in, pushing all my chips in the middle of the table, because tomorrow's not promised. I don't know if we get baseball next year. So I'm going to enjoy it now. Give me what I can get now.
The Charlotte Knights and Birmingham Barons they'll survive. Like, if they get rid of those guys, like, we need to win up here.
But here's the best part about being all in, Hoodie, is that all in for the White Sox is different than all in for other organizations right now.
Understood.
Because all in for the White Sox means they still have a lot more to offer that they're not going to have to give up. That's what I'm saying. They are better positioned. They've already moved Caleb Bonham off a shortstop to third base. You know why? Maybe long-term he's better at third base. It's also because they have 4 damn shortstops right now, and they have the number 1 overall pick. Like, that number 1 overall pick, talk about a time to have that.
Yes.
Knowing that, like, that to me is the ultimate card. That, right? Like, you're sitting there holding it going, wow, like, we're early. We're showing signs of organizational success with Miguel Vargas and Colson Montgomery and signing guys like Muna Murakami. And we still have this card to play if we want to go ahead and be ballsy and give up a top prospect to Rock Chalowski or Grady Emerson or whatever. When they fall into prospect rankings, are immediately going into the top 100 immediately. So you're replacing 1 with 1 in literally a snap of a finger. Yeah. So I'm with you. Like, you don't have to add a ton to add a lot, if that makes any sense. You could add a stud at the front, a stud at the back, and say, everybody else, hop on board and let's continue. Like, you're bringing in other people to be part of your magic. You don't need to ask for magic to come from outside. Right. You already have it enough here. And the last thing I'll say, don't think that home field doesn't matter. Because the AL West sucks too, getting that 2 seed in the American League matters for the White Sox, because you've seen who they are at home. It matters more for the White Sox maybe than any team in baseball, Hoodie, because yes, the road, their road record isn't good. It's among some of the league worst, to be honest with you. But at home, talk about magic. It's everywhere, from the cheap seats in left field to the cheap seats in the 108. No disrespect to the 108, we're coming out to the bleachers on dog day. It doesn't matter, because there's so much magic. People are talking to me more than ever about, hey, I want to go to a White Sox game. Have you been out to the park this year? Hey, and all I say is, you should go. Welcome back, by the way. And if you've never been, I'll take you, because people are talking, and it's not just in Chicago, it's coast to coast. So damn it, go. Don't settle to get the last wild card spot when you have an opportunity to play right into your strengths.
That's it.
How you doing?
100%.
Good to see you, Jonathan Hood.
All right, so we're on the same page. Go all in. Screw it,
dude. I got my armpits got a little sweaty. We were getting so passionate.
So I'm glad I turned the air conditioning on before this.
That. You know what that is?
That money.
That is the feeling of watching a winning team and we're not sulking about a 100-loss ball club. We're talking about a team that should be making the playoffs, but they just have to be able to tighten the screws. You got to tighten the screws on the roster, and then you just go for it and just see what happens.
Yeah,
that's all.
And by the way, there's not one person in the fan base that'll be upset if it comes up short, but you tried to go for it. The damning thing would be the opposite, is that you come up short because you just didn't have enough.
Yep.
You know, and the whole fan base is on your side right now. Okay, the whole fan base understands that you can't trade everybody, but you can trade somebody in order to give yourself a chance. And that's all that's White Sox fans, Hoodie. That's why the theme of this podcast is it's okay to have expectations now. It's okay. And I think the organization should take on the same mantra. And I quite frankly think that they are. I'll come on here and eat my crow on August 3rd if they don't do anything. And I will sit here and we will talk about how shitty it feels. But I just don't feel like we're going to be doing that.
There's no need for Chris Getz to hold his cards and just fold when he has a winning hand. Don't do that.
He has 3 of a kind right now. He has 3 of a kind. He doesn't have a royal flush he's got 3 of a kind right now, man. And if he plays it, there's a good chance he'll win. God, that was a good analogy. You guys hear that?
Man,
it felt good.
No, actually, you're welcome for me leading you into that, BA.
Yeah, you did.
That's what a team does. Instead of you just up there, looking at yourself, stroking yourself with your solo homer, it was a 2-run shot.
I was on base too.
Yeah.
Jonathan Hood. Hey, that's all. 2026.
He was a part of a lot of those 5-2 losses, but he hit 2 homers. You know,
that's exactly right.
No, I was the king of down 7-1 with an 8-inning homer. I dig myself. Have a great night.
Those Carlos Lee locker rooms they used to go into.
Oh yeah,
Carlos go 4 for 4. Sox lose 9-4.
Happy to talk to
everyone
you,
else is pissed.
Yeah, happy to talk to you. Yeah, I was really trying for that triple that last pitch.
That's it. I've been there, but that's why I love that our White Sox are amongst the best stories in baseball. It's the best story in baseball, but so are the Phillies, and so are the Cardinals, and so are the Washington Nationals, for instance. Right, the Nationals are supposed to be tanking and trying to rebuild, and they're like, oh shit, we're gonna have to add on now. That's why I love this sport, because you just never know. But the young people are showing us, man, with magic. That game yesterday, even in a loss, I was just so excited about what can be next. It's so cool.
They are the best story in baseball because of how they've done it and because of who's done it, and then the Murakami angle. So. Yes. They are all you have to do is look at MLB in their Twitter account all year. They love putting stuff out about the White Sox.
I love the White Sox.
I didn't know it took a 100% healed hamstring to make 4 left turns or 3 left turns jogging. Clean it up. You ain't stealing any bases anyways. Hit the ball and jog around the bases. We need you.
Thanks for that disclaimer as we wrap things up here on the White Sox Recap Podcast. Jonathan Hood wants to go all in. Brian Anderson wants to go all in. I want to go all in. But all in, again, it means different. A lot of stuff here. I can't wait to have these discussions as we get closer. I just love it's June 25th when we record this, and I love that we're having this damn discussion, because I just even on May 25th, I didn't know, but could we get to June 25th? Now I'm like, dude, let's get to August 3rd.
We're greedy SOBs on this podcast.
Well, hey, when you've had a 41 and 121, I think it's okay. You've earned it.
Yep.
All right.
I love it. And so we're clear. Hudson is the closer for you, right? That's what you want?
I'm okay with it right now.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
Anybody but
are you
Royal
not?
Highness.
Hang on. Are you not?
Anthony.
No, I mean, I have no other choice. I liked it. I love him on the left side. Helping us.
How about this? My shoe. What insert shoe instead of Sir Anthony Dominguez?
Just to be fair, I want to give you the splits before we get out of here.
Yeah, I just want to make sure it's on the record. That's fine. No, I'm totally fine with it, because I just made the analogy of 05. Who knows who's going to be the closer by the time we end this thing? Who knows?
In save situations, okay, there's 9 games for Brian Hudson. He's 8 innings, ERA of 0. I'm not even going to read his non-safe situations. I'm just going to go with that. How about that?
Yep.
Okay.
No problem.
So yes, on June 25th, I'm just fine with Brian Hudson being the closer.
Hey, Hoodie, fast fact about that 05 thing real quick. Before my guy puts a bow on it. Talk about baseball and how it's such a beautiful game and how it can really suck too. My major league debut, I go 2 for 3. Dustin Hermanson, no blown saves all year. I'm in center field like, fuck, dude, this is sick. I want to be like talk of the town. Blown save, I go 2 for 7, dude. I'm like, I ended up lining out on Jesse Crane and stuff. It was just brutal, man. But I remember going like, what the hell's going on, man? Like, is this what it's going to be like for the next few years? So
in that game,
and Guff, in his day, he could still see game-winning RBI Brian Anderson, by the way, in the paper.
Yeah,
GWR RBI.
Yeah, the box score was beautiful. 7 plate appearances in your first game.
Yeah, I mean, crazy. I was 2 for 3 off Brad Radke and a couple other dudes, and then they hit me with that.
Dude, I'd have to look. That has to be close to a major league record that you get 7 plate appearances.
It's the toughest. I'm telling you, that was if you on paper for someone like me who loves a good fastball, young guy wants a blazing fastball guy that come at you like a Verlander type. Brad Radke is the worst. Because he's fastball 89, 92 with a straight changeup. You're like, he throws you nothing that you want and none of the counts that you wanted in. So that was interesting.
Hoodie and I know enough about Brad Radke that guy made an entire career off of shoving against the Chicago White Sox. By the way, 8 plate appearances is the all-time record. So you were 1 shy of a major league record.
Fucking Hermanson.
Oh, really good stuff. Can't wait to keep talking about this subject as we go further. Keep going to the ballpark because the more money the White Sox bring, it could go. I'm not going to say it will go. It could go to team payroll. For BA, for Hoodie, I'm Guff. If you're not following the recap, it's exhausting. It's 250,000 people do. Why don't you hop on board, subscribe, click that notification bell every time that we drop a new podcast. You get that notification, and boom, we are here for you. I promise you, Dan Plesack's coming on the podcast. I promise you. He's at the MLB Draft Combine this week, so that might be a good little nugget, a little bonus. He interviewed Landon Tomey the other day. That was kind of fun. Are the White Sox going to be in the mix for Landon Tomey?
I don't know.
We'll see.
Yeah, no.
We'll get to that on another edition of the White Sox Recap Podcast. We thank you for watching. We thank you for listening. We'll see you next time on the White Sox Recap Podcast.
My crew.